I have spent far too much time attempting to figure out where to put this phone to give you a good view. So here you go. Focus on something like, I want you to focus on the story I'm going to tell you and not my face or the scenery. So get comfy. You be quiet. You've had so much attention today. Look at this thing. No. No. You've had love, you've had cuddles, you have 2 bowls of food, and the curtain that I cut up for you because you kept deciding to, tangle yourself up in it, so now it's your play toy that you're not playing with anymore. Well, I did it for you, now what do you want? Boop yourself. Good job. I want you to focus on what I'm going to be talking to you about. And yeah, I have the air conditioner on because I'm either hormonal, which is really not surprising, or we're just going to say that I'm overheating because it's the most simple explanation. I have had a really pleasant day. Like, really pleasant. And I don't take naps. And this past week, I've been taking multiple naps throughout the day because I seem to not want to do anything in this reality. Which is telling me that I'm probably about to shift realities or create something new that's going to change all of this. So in some way, my conscious mind is withdrawing from this to make room for the other. And I just had the most delicious pizza ever. I got that Domino's 2 for, if you get 2, it's $5.99 each. So I got 2 giant pizzas. One of them was a specialty pizza. I treated myself today, basically, because it all started by watching this video on Facebook from this page called Blossom. And they were showing different ways to make cheesecake and different designs to put on cheesecake. And out of nowhere, while watching it, I went, why'd you do that? To the person making the video, as if they could hear me. Completely innocently, very naive, very fun, kind of just intrigued completely by why someone would go through so much trouble to design the top of a cake. And I caught myself. As soon as I said it, I got the answer back immediately, as if Spirit was listening to me. Do you see that? Is it? I guess it's a camera thing. Whatever. The answer I got back when I asked why this person, why are you making such a big deal out of the cake or the cheesecake? And the answer I got was, you are worthy of having your senses delighted. And I thought, wow. The first thought I had was, I have really been bare minimum to myself since my divine counterpart and I had our non-separated separation. The one that happened without a goodbye, without anything, without me getting my things, and blah, 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 okay? And I broke down crying so bad for a good 15 minutes, just grieving. There were the tears that were coming out of my eyes weren't... I didn't even realize that one tear was already at my chin, with the other one trailing behind it, because there was just a continuous stream coming down, quicker than I could wipe my tears away. I wasn't even hyperventilating. I wasn't, breathing heavily or any of that stuff. I was just crying uncontrollably. And I put my hand on my heart and I tuned into my heart center, my entire emotional body, and I realized, holy shit, I love so deeply, so deeply. But in my conscious day, I do so little to acknowledge my capacity to love. And this is what this video is about. Your capacity to love. And this topic has been flooding through my mind for the past few days. I've been listening to my own subliminals exclusively since I made the first one. And before I uploaded the first one, I've had one for myself that I've been listening to for about a week, just to see that I'm not going to screw myself up if I if I do these techniques. I usually do them on myself first. And today, through the series of events that have occurred in the last week, a few days ago, well, let me backtrack. A few days ago, I was watching the Love Letter to Source video because I was going through my video lists on the channel, and I was checking to make sure all the settings are okay, because YouTube seems to keep making some comments not show up and it marks them as spam. So I have to go through the comments section of each video, or sometimes or the settings of each video, especially because lately it's been setting videos on private for no reason, or no conscious reason that I'm aware of. So I was watching the Love Letter to Source, and I thought, wow, because when I watch my videos, I can't watch them as if it's me watching myself. It's weird. So I was watching it as if I'm watching an alternate reality version of myself, because it's easier that way. And the thought I had by the end of the video is, holy shit, this person loves so much. Like, how can this person be like a normal person, to have this synesthesia thing and love so deeply that the love that they feel goes beyond from human to human? It's like a love for all of existence wrapped up in one human being, and this person that made the video loves that human being as if that being was Source completely. It reminded me of the goddess Sophia and her complete fascination and infatuation with Source, the originator, and Thelete, her divine counterpart. It reminded me of how much I still to this day would do anything for my divine counterpart, anything, to ensure that his life would be better than like whatever it is, to make it better for him. Even if it's the best it can be, I will upgrade the level of best for the entire human species so his can level up too. I mean, it's been 2 years since our supposed separation, and I am still every day more and more and more in love with this person. I don't get it. I've thought, I don't get it. Like, I've tried to rationalize this in my mind. I've tried to feel through it with my heart. I have tried to use my instincts on this. I have, obviously meditated. I've used my own training and programming and all sorts of things on myself to try to figure this out. And it's like the universe just knocks me upside my head and says, this is the one for you. I don't know what you're so confused about. So I was watching that video. Yes, you exist. You're still here. Have no fear, little one. Yeah, I know. It's such a troublesome experience being such a spoiled little cat, isn't it? So I started watching another video I had on there called I Love You Deeply, which I had recorded a few months after moving into my parents' house when they had bought a house, instead of the little apartment we lived in where I was basically sleeping in my sister's closet for like 5 months, or however long it was. It was a nightmare. And I mean, I was welcome in the house. They just had no room, so we made room in her bedroom, which was an entire storage unit, because she's basically a hoarder. Or she was in that apartment, because there was a lot of other stuff in there too from a lot of other people. And they made a little corner which was about the size of those couches in that little section, the chairs, I mean, and that's where I slept. It was terrible. Terrible, like, oh my god. Anyway, I was listening to that video, and then I realized again, holy shit, this person I'm listening to deserves to be loved. Like, this being has loved so much, and they've held on to love for all this time, against all opposition, against all manifestations and illusions and everything else. This person has held on to their truth. Regardless of what the world has said, this person still loves this other person. No matter what's happened, no matter how much cheating, violence, betrayal, theft, anything you can add onto it has happened, this person still has held on. And I've been thinking about this a lot and feeling about it and really doing every card reading, like every method I can. I was just lying on the floor on this blanket for, I think it was like an hour, meditating with those 3 crystals on that table, which are stacked now. I was listening to India Ari and singing along. I was doing Reiki meditations and recording more Reiki videos, and I started crying again. Like, as if I popped outside of my body and I was watching my body go through this, as if I was experiencing a story. Like the story of someone who had a choice to make, to choose to be really horrible or to choose to be good. And instead they chose to love themselves so much. But in order to love themselves and avoid duality, they had to maintain this thread that connects them to someone else. The strangest sequence of events have been occurring. And all of it is pointing to how deeply I love this person. I don't even comprehend how to express to you the gravity of this. I went for a walk and I ran into the building coordinator person, the like event coordinator or whatever it is for this housing unit. Very lovely lady. And she was talking to me about just what we should do, why I've been isolating myself so much, why I don't interact with the rest of the people here, why I don't go out and garden in my little gardening plot. Like, why am I always by myself in my apartment? And I realized, oh my God, time is going by differently for them. To them, it's day in and day out, and I'm in this apartment doing my own thing. To me, it feels like it's been 1,000 years, multiple different realities, timelines, and existences, from being male to female, from being one name to another name, from having varying levels of hormone levels and everything else. But all they see is the same person. They have no idea how much pain I'm in, how much I love this person, how much I'm growing as a person, how much I'm evolving as a quote-unquote light or shadow worker, whatever, like duality worker. All these experiences I'm having with actual beings outside of me. And all the while, the thing that's keeping me going is the love for this divine counterpart. Nothing else. Like, I can't lie to you about this. The only thing that keeps me waking up every day is that maybe today will be the day. Maybe today, maybe everything I've been wishing for and manifesting this is the day. And I get up and I take a shower, I make some coffee, I sit down, I check the videos and emails, I meditate, and I ask what would be beneficial to make and create for the world. And then I realize that I've spent most of the day doing everything I can for everyone around me except myself. Because the part of me that really, really wants to be okay and to be happy and in love and healthy and all of those things, that part of me, the genuine, core, authentic part of me, is holding on to him and refuses to let go, refuses to have any sort of fun in this life, has completely stopped moving. But in that refusal to quote unquote move forward, has grown into this embodiment of unconditional, true, loyal, devoted love. Like unconditional love. No matter what, I will love you. No matter what. And in order for me to maintain that, I have to be so strong and so immortal and so indestructible that no matter what happens to me, I have to survive to keep this love for you alive. It's the only thing that keeps me going. It's the only thing that has me better myself. Because I have to be better, because the love I feel continuously gets bigger and bigger and bigger every day. Because every day I spend daydreaming about this entire fantasy life. And then my capacity to love feels like it's pushing against walls. Like I can feel the limit, because when I get angry or when I get frustrated, I realize I'm at a limit. Which then I turn it around and I start loving myself more and more and more until I feel so satisfied in everything that I've done that again I can create another level of love. It's amazing, actually, this feedback loop, this system of give and take I've somehow stumbled on or created, where in order to, like, I've loopholed loving yourself. I've completely found a loophole in the entire structure of narcissism, abuse, abandonment, archonic, aeonic behavior, self-love, self-worth, and completely loving someone else more than you love yourself, but then having it actually benefit you to where you love yourself more because you need to better yourself to love that person more. That's how much you love them, that you love them so much that you would better yourself to love them more. It's the strangest feeling I've ever felt in my life. And today I was listening to India Ari again, I Am Ready for Love. And I thought to myself, like, I felt it again, this inner child in me, the inner woman in me, the inner man in me, the inner god, goddess in me, and all of them were harmonized. All of them are ready for love, beyond ready for love. And I felt this question pop up in me, then what's the problem? What's the issue? Why am I single? Why do I have garden furniture as furniture? Like, why is that Barbie couch my couch? It's really tiny. You guys don't comprehend how tiny it is. I just... What's happening to all of this love I feel? Where is it? What's happening to it? most people manifest things and, you know, it comes into their life. Most people who like cheat each other and abuse each other and everything else have relationships and they take them for granted and they still have them. Whereas I'm sitting here with like undying devotion and love that has spanned 2 years of silent treatments and all of the bullshit that I've been going through and having. Do you know, I'm gonna give you this little inkling of pain. So, do you know how much it hurts yet burns with such a cold fire inside of you when you know that you're completely powerless to get your belongings back from someone? Your grandfathers, your grandmothers, your mothers, your sisters, your brothers, all the gifts, all the trinkets, all the sentimental things, all the pictures that you had your entire 36 years of life that are under lock and key with someone else. And you have to wait for their mood to shift to get what belongs to you, with their conditions on top of it. And if you say something wrong, if you do something wrong, if you do whatever, then they seem to think that they have the right to withhold what belongs to you. Do you know how powerless that makes someone feel? And I refuse to feel powerless, which means I get stuck in a loop of anger and frustration and then complete pain and pity towards myself. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? So instead of allowing that to continue, I transmute it into unconditional love more and more and more, which then puts me at another feedback loop of continuously loving this guy. Like, he can do no wrong to the point where the word wrong doesn't exist in my dictionary. I completely comprehend why he does what he does, and it's not acceptable, not approvable. It simply is. And I still love you. It's like Persephone loving Hades. Like, you fucking rule hell and you torment people, including me, and I still love you. Do you really think you're gonna get better than this? And I try to get better, and I do better, and I get better. It's massive pain, which has become fuel for me. And I was listening to the video, Just Click and Breathe, because I started crying again, and I was like, I can't do this again. Like, another day where I'm going through pain and tears and I'm by myself and nobody gets how much I'm hurting and I don't know what to do and I have no divinity to call and be like, hey, Mr. God, pull some strings for me. Because I'm completely aware of what God actually is and what source is. And if I'm praying to one of these beings, then a deal has to be made and contracts have to be drawn, exchanges have to be made, and I've already given everything. And I would do anything. And still movement hasn't moved forward. Which means something is going on where this is all intended to be this way. Which then means the only thing I can do is to endure, to transmute, and to grow. To comprehend, to gain more intelligence, to gain more emotional intelligence, to gain more energy, to be able to harness and manipulate and to control the energy around me to the point where I can take pain and turn it into pleasure for myself. To where I can take garden furniture and turn it into gold, to where I can take my tears and turn them into art, to take what is and make it into what I want, in an unselfish way, because what I really want is to go home, not to some far off planet, but 20 minutes west of here. So I was listening to that Just Click and Breathe meditation thing I have on YouTube, and I was thinking to myself while listening to it, I'm not really thinking, but feeling and visualizing more. And at some point I fell asleep. And again, and as every night I sleep, I wake, and in my sleep, I wake up lucid dreaming about him, to where I'm living a life with him as normal and real as this. And when I sleep in that life, I wake up here, devastated. This last time we were laying in bed, and I was giving him kisses on his cheek, like just playful, a bunch of really quick kisses over and over. And I'm like, I'm tired. And he said, well, why don't you get some sleep? I'm like, I don't want to sleep. If I sleep, I wake up over there where you're not there. And he's like, don't worry, I'll be here. Just go to sleep. I'm right here. And I asked him, I'm like, do you promise you're going to be here? And he's like, yes. And I fell asleep in his arms, and I woke up here in bed by myself. Busted down, crying. So while listening to that video, it dawned on me, why am I coming here? I'm obviously in control of my reality. Regardless of what sabotage there is, there's some benefit to this, which is why it's continuing. There's some purpose to it, which is why it's continuing. What is it? And I didn't get an answer immediately. So I got up, ordered a pizza, made some coffee, which is right here, and opened up, I think it was Facebook or something, to where there was a post about Keanu Reeves being like the loneliest man, but being like a really kind-hearted person. And I thought, oh, that's so sad. He's such a good man, he deserves better. And I scrolled down, and then there was another post about a dog waiting behind a hospital door for its owner, or like some medical place in a Asian country. And the dog was waiting for its owner to return, but the owner had passed away in surgery. And then it dawned on me again, like, oh, universe, you're telling me something. I'm lonely and I'm waiting for something that might never happen. Just like the conversation I was having with the service coordinator person, where she's like, Celeste, what if this is, naivety? What if you're holding on to something that isn't going to happen? And I thought to myself, and I answered her with these exact words. If this story doesn't have a resolution, regardless of him and I getting back together or not, that's the icing on top. But having my grandmother receive the things from her deceased husband, having me receive the things from my basically deceased divine counterpart, whose body is being used by another being, a walk-in basically. This divine counterpart of mine, who, if the story doesn't have a ending of any kind, pleasant, traumatic, sorrowful, whatever, he becomes the villain and I become the victim, and there's nothing I can do about it. So this story has to have a happily ever after. Even if it's a happily ever after for villains, this story has to have a resolution, because otherwise it proves that evil is stronger than love. Because I have spent 2 years, in addition to the 8 years, in addition to the multiple lifetimes in between those years, loving this guy unconditionally. I have ripped myself to pieces so much that I don't recognize who I am anymore. My gender changed, my name changed, my face changed, my city changed, my family, my friends, everything changed to better myself, to be better for him, and in turn better for myself. So this story has to have some kind of an ending. The babies, the furry babies, are cats, are plants, the pictures that I've had when I was 16 that are still in the house, all of this has to have a resolution. Why? Because I haven't given up on love. If there is anything I have faith in, it's how much I love. And that the love I feel is real. And it's more real and more enduring and more unbreakable than any evil he or people through him or entities or anybody I've ever encountered, from rape to murder, has ever committed. My love has surpassed all of it. Every single day I wake up and I do better and better and better because of how much I love him. And in turn, I have realized how much I love me. And this has to have a resolution, because I love. And if love is really the strongest force in the entire universe and all of creation, then I have the utmost faith that this is already going to receive the best case scenario experience and the most loving outcome for him and for me. I don't know how to not believe that. I don't know how to give up hope. I have the kanji symbol, the Japanese symbol of hope, tattooed at the base of my spine, so that no matter what, my spine is perpetually rooted in hope. I can't give it up. So all of this to help you be aware that you love more deeply than you're aware of. The things you do in your life, may they be with love. Look at the things you do. Look at the foods you eat. Look at the people you love. The way you decorate your house. The way animals find comfort around you. The way you enjoy a cup of coffee. The lighting in your house. The ambiance. The way people talk to you. The way you talk to yourself. Through the elements, the plants, nature. Do they thrive around you? Do they bloom? Do you comfort yourself? Do you sing to yourself? Do you sit in nature and just breathe in the life and atmosphere around you? Do you give up easily on people? Do you turn your back on them? Do you abandon them because of actions? Allow yourself to be overtaken by love. If I can do it, so can you. And for me, it hasn't been easy in any way, shape, or form. From physical ailments to emotional to financial. And I have held on right down to this ring. And I've done it all while being celibate. Like, celibate and no fap. If I can do it, so can you. And maybe I'm a fool. But at least, on my tombstone someday it'll say that I never gave up. I never abandoned love itself. Allow yourself to love deeply and see where it gets you. I'm gonna go. The video is gonna cut off soon, as usual. I hope this was enlightening for you. I hope your heart got tickled. And if you have any well wishes or whatever to send, in the way of me and my counterpart, it would be really appreciated. Because at this point, I could use all the help I can get. It would be really nice to be with him again. It would be really nice to see my grandmother smile by giving her things back. It would be nice to just hug him and be like, hey, this is really fucked up and we both learned a lot and I love you an absurd amount. I love you so much. It changed me and reminded me to love myself. Oh, I'm gonna go. What a day.